As an audio consultant, probably the number one complaint I get about live sound is the drums are too loud. And my number one solution is not only the most effective, but it's also the cheapest. Don't play so hard. Drummers have been playing to the room as long as there's been drums, and if your drummer is not willing or able to do that, you might need to find somebody else. And if you are that drummer, practice. It's very important to be able to adjust your dynamics to whatever the situation demands. That said, rods, or bundles, depending on your upbringing, can be a really useful tool to help you play with energy still while keeping the levels under control. A quick demonstration. Now, I recommend these for use in coffee shops, restaurants, small bars, houses of worship, you name it. They're a great tool. The problem with them is that they're expensive. Way too expensive for how short they live. At 20 bucks a pair, I don't think so. I make my own. And I finally had enough people ask me about these that I finally decided to just make a video so I could say, here, check out this link. Anyway, the first thing I do is I go to a local hardware store and I buy 3 16th-inch dowels. These are made of poplar and they come in 4-foot lengths. Yes, I'm using imperial measurements today because I'm in America and we love being behind the times. But that said, since they come in 4-foot lengths, you can cut each one into 3 equal lengths and get 16-inch dowels. That's the same length as a standard drumstick. So each set of rods requires 7 dowels. If you buy 14 of these dowels, then you get basically 3 pair. So once I get these cut to the appropriate length, I take 7 of them, 1 for the center and 6 to wrap around the outside of it, forming a hexagonal shape like this. And I hot glue them all together at the butt. It's very important to make sure you get the center dowel firmly glued in place, otherwise it might come loose while you're playing and it gets messy. And once that's solidified, I come back and I fill in the gaps between all the dowels just to make sure everything is firmly held in place, and then I give it a quick wipe with my hand to make sure that there's no lumps. Then I take 3/4 inch 2-to-1 heat shrink tubing. In other words, when heat is applied to this, it'll shrink down to 3/8 of an inch. And I cut off just enough length to cover up where the adhesive is, where the price tags were. And if I bought these ahead of time online, I could probably get them without the price tags and probably cheaper to boot, but I tend to not make these until I really need them, so I just deal. Anyway, as far as the shoulder's concerned, this is kind of up to you. In general, the thinner this strip is and the further toward the butt you place it, the softer the sound, but you also get less rebound. I myself prefer about a 2-inch length, about 4 inches from the tip. And unlike what I did in the video here, I recommend doing the butts first and then going back and doing the shoulders, but you just slip it over the dowels and just hold it over the stove, slowly rotating it. You might have to shift back and forth a little bit here and there to make sure that everything is heated evenly and you don't get any warping. You can use a heat gun. I don't have one. Some people use a cigarette lighter, which I really don't recommend because it's hard to get it to shrink evenly and not burn it. Anyway, from there, it's just a matter of testing it to make sure it feels right. The heat shrink tubing comes in 4-foot lengths, and so at the lengths that I use here, I can get 2 batches or 12 sticks total out of each heat shrink tube, and they cost about $9–10 bucks each. So when it's all said and done, these come out to what, maybe $8 a pair. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I hope this was helpful.